Hello, everybody. Once we're here again, thank you for tuning in. Today, I have the great pleasure of having one of the top dogs in the county, the Comptroller, the Clerk of Courts, Juan Barquin. Juan, thank you for coming in.
My pleasure, Johnny.
I know your schedule is busy, and to even answer a little guy's phone call like me, I am humbled. I really am.
No. You're a friend, and you're a resident. You're a constituent, of course, man.
I appreciate that.
I'm an open book. So
I appreciate that very much. And look, I'm gonna tell you, you have done a lot of exciting things. I'm impressed by how many initiatives you've done, and I've actually enjoyed one of them. So yeah, I appreciate that, and I just want to dive right in. But before I dive in, for the people that don't know who Juan Barquin is, can just give us a little bit about yourself so they know who you are.
Yeah. So born and raised in Miami, went to high school in Miami, went to Belen, went to FIU for undergrad. And after that, I wanted to get out of town, so I went to law school at American University in Washington, D.C., graduated in 2008 when the economy was doing great. And but I knew I wanted to be a trial attorney. I knew I wanted to be in court. I interviewed with a bunch of different offices. I got an offer to be an assistant public defender in Palm Beach County. And I went over there, and I always felt that due process is one of the most important fundamental rights in this country. So it was a real honor. It was a real pleasure to be a PD in Palm Beach. I learned a lot. I did over 30 jury trials, over 30 non-jury trials, and just learned the ropes. After that, moved back down to Miami. Started at a civil firm, was there for about a year, and then after that went on my own. And then in 2017, I got the bug to run for office. Ran in 2018. It was like December 2017 when I decided I'd do it. Ran in 2018. Re-elected twice, 2020 and 2022, and then appointed to this position 2023. And then luckily got voted by the residents of Miami-Dade County for this position as Clerk of the Court and Comptroller in 2024. And I'm here now, just trying to make things run as efficient as possible.
Well, we definitely appreciate it, and I'm really glad you're there and doing great things. So really quick, what's been your most favorite initiative that you've implemented? The
first initiative when I first came in, and having been a public defender and having dealt with a lot of individuals that had suspended driver's licenses, I knew that was a huge issue. So that was my biggest initiative. So what we did was that we extended our hours on Thursdays and Saturdays in the North Dade Courthouse on 155th and Biscayne, the South Dade Courthouse on the address, I think is 20710 Southwest 211th Street, and in the Caleb Center, the Joseph Caleb Center. So we extended our hours on Thursdays from, typically we close at 4, we extended it to 8. And on Saturdays 9 to 1. So this helped a lot of people. I get those reports weekly to see how many people are coming in, how many people are paying, to see how many people are taking advantage of it. And I can tell you it's a lot of people. And the reason we did this is because there are so many working people, Johnny. There are so many working people who cannot take time off between 9 and 4 to go to the courthouse. So, I mean, this is just something to help that single parent who has 2 kids, who's maybe working 2 jobs. This gives them an opportunity to go in person and talk face-to-face to a clerk if they have any questions. Along those same lines, we also started payment plans for traffic tickets and also for criminal court costs. So if that is causing the suspension of a driver's license, an individual can get on a payment plan and it'll reinstate their license as long as that ticket is the only thing suspending their license. But that is something that I'm incredibly excited about. We did the payment plan. A lot of people are taking advantage of that. And then occasionally we also do the Operation Greenlight, where we waive collection fees. Statutorily, a lot of people don't know this, but statutorily I'm obligated to send to a collection agency a traffic ticket that is older than 120 days. Statutorily obligated. I have no choice on this, right? So, but what I can also do is essentially claw it back from the collection agency and waive the collection fee. So that's what I've done with Operation Greenlight. We waived the collection fees. We just had one from October 6th to October 19th. We helped save the residents of Miami-Dade County over $200,000, actually $248,000. we were able to collect roughly about $500,000. A great success. It was basically a great success. We helped a lot of people. We waived a lot of fees, and just more money in their pocket, especially now during such a tough economic time.
No, that's awesome. In fact, I think you've answered like 3 of my questions. I didn't even get to ask them. You answered them alone. Which one of them is, that initiative that you did, it was great because, like you said, there's a lot of working people out there, and if it's not from 7 to 3:30, it's 9 to 5. Anywhere in between there, you got to fight traffic. So there's no way that someone can get out and take care of these things.
Yeah.
And on Saturday, sometimes you can't because some people work Saturdays. I mean, we're in an economy that we got to work 6, sometimes 7 days a week.
Exactly.
I mean, that's the reality of it.
Yeah, and also childcare is another issue, right?
Yeah.
So we try to make it as easy as possible for the payment plans online, so that if you want a payment plan and you're working 6 days a week, 7 days a week, and you can't physically come in, at least you could do the payment plan online. So it's something that a lot of people, I get those numbers daily also. I get numbers at 9 a.m. of how many people signed up for a payment plan the day before.
Right.
And then at 3 p.m. I get the numbers on how many defaulted also. So it's something that I like to stay really cued in on the numbers, and it's interesting. It's really
that's good. So it's like your own personal report card of how it's going. That's good. No, that was one of my last questions about that, but I'm glad you bring it up now. No, it is important. It is. I mean, look, no, things are hard, and it's good to see that we have an elected official that actually knows our real problems. You're not out there just saying, well, what are we going to do today? You're actually doing something that does affect us every day.
Yeah, especially the driver's license. I mean, so many individuals in Miami-Dade County have their licenses suspended for traffic tickets.
Yeah.
Or for court costs related to a misdemeanor or a felony. That it is, I think I can tell you, I ran the number, I called FLHSMV maybe about a year ago. And the number they gave me was 85,000 people in Miami-Dade County.
Wow.
Okay. I can guarantee you that's gone up between primarily with the school zone cameras. And I don't have the exact number now, but I have a heat chart of broken down into zip codes and how many. And it's a snapshot, of course, right? Like, this is not something that's like, we have to run the numbers and look at it. But I could tell you, I don't know the exact amount, but I know it's gone up. No,
and I can imagine that some people don't even know that their license might get suspended because now if your insurance lacks even 1 day.
Exactly.
Yes. And you might think, oh well, it already got taken care of. But if it took them even 16 hours for them to get it, you got suspended. You might not even know that you had to call back or go in. Yes. And now you're driving around, and I mean it's unfortunate, but yeah.
Yeah,
and I know by experience.
But I've had people from all walks of life call me about it. Like, I do a radio show on Spanish radio, and I'll get people calling that it's like, hey, I work at a grocery store and my license is suspended. I've had friends who are doctors who have called me and they're like, hey, I didn't know, but my license is suspended. I don't know what to do. It can happen to anybody. But that's one aspect of the job, right? Because the other aspect, that's under the clerk of the court hat.
Right.
The other aspect, the comptroller hat, what I want to focus on is transparency in the county. Transparency in the county government, transparency how we're spending, and I'll look straight into the camera on this one. Transparency on how the county government is spending your taxpayer money. That is something that is incredibly important to me. We're working on a dashboard. My dream is for there to be a dashboard that is easy to read, that anybody can go in there, click, search, see what the breakdown is, see what departments are receiving, how much money, what they're spending it on, if they're buying paper clips, if they're buying pencils, if they're buying pens. That is all something that we should be able to see.
You're correct, and I'm glad you brought that up because especially right now, we see that we were in a hole, and all of a sudden now we're not in a hole. And then you hear, I mean, and it's not me saying it, it's things that we read, that there's nonprofits that needed the money, or that people were hiding this money, or the money was coming from over here. And everybody was asked, because they even asked me, hey, Johnny, do you know what's going on? I'm like, no, I don't. How can we find out? Sometimes you got to put in a public record request. Sometimes you can't get them. Yeah. But with that dashboard that you're trying to implement, that'd be great, because then we can go directly and see what's going on.
Yeah.
And right now is the time how, a lot of, Spanish families say, amarrar el cinturón.
Sí.
That's what we got to do.
Yeah.
Things are rough. They're getting tough. And if we got to do it in our household, I think the county should do it too.
Absolutely. I mean, that's something that they need to take. They need to there's a couple of different theories when it comes to doing a budget. One of the theories when it comes to doing a budget is I believe it's called starting from zero, right? Mm-hmm. Where you start at zero. It is what it sounds like. And then from there, you go to essential services. What is absolutely essential? Okay. Then you do another tranche of things that aren't as important, right? Semi-essential. And then you go to the ones that are totally discretionary. And it's something that I think is incredibly important that we really take up a way that the county looks at things from that perspective. I mean, we've been incredibly conservative with our budget because many people don't know that the county, so clerk of the court is funded by fines, fees, right, service charges, parking tickets, traffic tickets. I mean, we get partial funding from that. Everything that we collect, we only keep about 55% of it. Okay.
Wow. Okay.
The other 45%, and I don't even say I do. It goes to Tallahassee. There's an association of the clerks that divides the money up amongst all the counties. But that association only keeps 55% of what we collect. The rest of it goes to 42 trust funds, goes to general revenue for the state, goes to the PD's office, goes to the state attorney's office. So we only see a portion of what we collect, right? But that is strictly limited to the clerk of the court operations. Our county operations, on the other hand, are one, funded by the documentary stamps from people recording mortgages,
right?
And then whatever the gap is, the county pays that on the county side. The county will give it to us from general revenue, right? But those functions are, one, the Comptroller's office, so Comptroller Finance for the county, the marriage licenses, clerk of the board, the official records, which is where the revenue is generated with the doc stamps, clerk of the board, and
filing fees.
Yes, and the filing fees. Yeah, I mean, so like service charges from like filing a deed, even a quitclaim deed with no mortgage, right? Or you're filing a mortgage, you got to pay the doc stamps, right? Like all that revenue. There's been years where our office on the county side was completely funded by the doc stamps, where we did not ask for any money from general revenue when the rubber met the road. And we were, I mean, those were good years for us, right? Like we're not depending on the county. They're not cutting any sort of program or any sort of services in order to fund you guys, to fund us, right? But those functions on the county side, I mean, are incredibly critical just for the basic things that we do. And the other one is the administration of the Value Adjustment Board.
Okay.
So if anybody appeals their property taxes, they have to let us know, and we coordinate the hearing. We coordinate the appeal with the representatives from the Value Adjustment Board. So we're essentially ministerial administrative, essentially secretarial duties for the Value Adjustment Board.
Okay.
So it's a lot of different duties in this office, and I'm constantly switching hats.
No, I can imagine. And before, I got a couple questions that I wrote down, but before I get into that, let me ask you. And it was mentioned before, the comptroller. Before you came into office, there was no comptroller.
Correct.
So you basically had to come in and just start from the ground zero up.
Great question. So
how was that?
Well, luckily, so let's rewind so that everyone can understand. You and I both know Amendment 10, right? But most people don't. Most people forget that they voted for it in 2018, or maybe voted against it in 2018, right? Mm-hmm. But in 2018, there was on the ballot, a state constitutional amendment forcing every county to elect county-wide a property appraiser, a clerk of the court and comptroller, which was already elected in Miami-Dade County, clerk of the court, but the comptroller functions were under the county, sheriff, tax collector, and supervisor of elections. As a result of that measure passed, right? So, but part of that measure also said that Miami-Dade County and Broward would have until January 7th, 2025 to enact it. So I got appointed in June 2023. I come into office, and we're anticipating all this, right? We're like looking down the runway and trying to make sure that we have enough of a runway for the county to to give us the finance department. So they transferred the finance department to us,
Right.
but they did not transfer the audit department. They funded the positions, and we've been constantly hiring on the audit side, specifically for the audit department, which is roughly about 35 individuals, 35 full-time employees. The finance department itself is roughly about 200, almost 200 flat.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's a very large department, but they're phenomenal. I mean, they came from the county, and they're great. I mean, a lot of talented people, incredible professionals, people with a ton of experience. And I would say my whole office, I'm blessed to have my whole office. These are professionals. These are people who many of the people in my office have been there for decades. And not just decades, Johnny, but a lot of people have family there, or like generations.
Wow.
It's not uncommon to hear, oh, well, so-and-so's son, and this is not from a perspective of favoritism or anything like that. Like, the son does a good job too. I mean, it's just this. There are a lot of families.
They grew up in the business.
It's literally
basically.
a family, yeah, because they grew up around it. The mom was a clerk, or their uncle was a clerk, and
Right.
they saw what was going on, and they wanted to get involved. They wanted to get involved in the legal field without having to be an attorney or a judge
Got it.
or law enforcement. Yeah,
Got it.
yeah, which is great. It's incredibly honorable, and
No,
I tip my hat to all of them.
It's good to have a good staff, because then that makes your job a lot easier.
Absolutely,
So
absolutely,
I
without a doubt.
understand that. Okay. One of the things I want to bring up is the property fraud and community protection that you initiated, which is awesome, because I've heard a couple stories before, but you bringing it actually on board, did something like, did you look at the numbers? Was it like that bad that you had to put that in?
So it was something. So I had talked to my team about it, because we knew it was going on, but we weren't sure what the numbers were. Right? It's like, I don't know. I'm not a doctor, but let's say it's an outbreak of a virus somewhere, and something's going on. You just have no idea how many people are suffering from it.
Right.
We knew it was an issue, so I talked to my IT team and asked how easy would it be? How difficult is it? What can we do here? And they came back and said, well, we can do it by name and folio number. And then I started thinking about it, and I remember looking at my name and thinking, we can't do it by name. There's too many Juan Fernandez's around. There's too many Juan Perez's around.
Yeah.
That's going to be a mess. Like, anybody who signs up for an alert by their name, they're going to be getting alerts all day, right? And sure enough, it happened to me when I tried to sign up with my name, because I put in Fernandez as an option, and I got a ton of hits. So I said, okay, that's not an idea. So we started thinking about other ways, and the parcel number. So right now, what an individual can do, doesn't even have to be a homeowner. It could be anybody. It could be a family of a homeowner. It could be the son. It could be the daughter. It could be a nephew. It could be a niece. What they can do is sign up, and they will get an alert via text message or email if there's a change in the deed that they register with us, and it's all by folio number, right? And that is something that every parcel in Miami-Dade County has a unique folio number.
Right.
So what they do is that they go to our website. If you scroll down to the rotating windows, I think it's maybe the 6th.
Which is the website, so they know?
Oh, Miami-Dade Clerk.gov.
Okay.
Miami-Dade Clerk, CLERK.gov. What they do is that they sign up, they go to the website, they can search property fraud. All right. So they can go to the search bar, put in property fraud, or they can go to the scroll down to the rotating windows, and they'll find it there. And they go in, they put in their email. We send them an email, okay, with a link to verify.
Right.
They go to their email, they click on the link, and then another window will pop open with the information that they need to put in. So their name, their phone number, email address, and the parcel number that they want to be notified about.
Alerted on.
And they can fill in, if I'm not mistaken, it's up to 25 parcels.
Oh, okay. So it doesn't be one. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So for the listeners, I signed up for it, by the way. Thank you. It's awesome because, and there's been a couple stories in the news where they were getting evicted. They didn't even know that they had lost the property because of fraud.
Yes.
So basically, you go on the website, Clerk of Courts, Miami-Dade County.
Yeah, Miami-Dade Clerk.gov.
And you sign up. So this way, if someone does a change in your property, you get alerted. I mean, that is great because especially with all the new scams that are going out there, you want to protect, especially your home. Can you imagine?
Oh, Johnny, there's so many scams, man.
I mean,
the latest one is a DHSMV. Have you gotten those text messages?
Yes, I have.
That you have like an outstanding ticket and it cites some administrative
I got a call from a sheriff.
Excuse me, we can do a photo bomb right here, okay?
Oh, okay.
Mr.
Hey,
Clark,
how are you, Mike?
No, Lisa,
Good
but
to
this
see you.
Commissioner
Of course.
to South Miami.
We got Michael that came in.
How are you?
Michael, how you doing?
Nice to see you.
Good. How are
So
you?
she was up front and just wanted to
Oh,
stop
wait,
by
we're
and say
going to
hello.
squash into your picture.
Hey, let's get we got a picture. Stand right over there.
Let's
We're
see.
still going, right?
Come on.
Okay.
Yeah.
This is all live now.
Yes. Thank you.
Well, thank you. No problem. Anytime.
Great to see you.
Bye.
Mike.
Yeah, I was saying I was actually traveling back, but
Yeah.
it was during Christmas time. I was traveling back from Christmas vacation, and I get a call that my license was suspended, and there was being warrant out for my arrest
Yeah.
if I don't pay a certain amount of money. Okay, that if I can wire it in, I'm like wire it in. I'm like, hold on, what do you mean my license is suspended? I would have known.
Yeah.
So I said, well, what is it? And I said, okay, well, I'm gonna stop by the sheriff's office right now to see what's going on. And they were trying to do everything possible, and they almost had me. I almost believed it.
Oh, there's been people, I've heard of people who have been defrauded out of like $5,000
Wow.
for it. Do you remember how much they asked you?
It was like $2,500.
That's crazy. It's crazy. I mean, this is something, and unfortunately, people fall for it because they're not informed. But the DHSMV tickets on the text message, and it happened. So it happened to a friend of mine also recently.
Oh, wow.
And they said who they gave the name of the deputy, and I said I said ignore it for now. Let me call the sheriff. And I called the sheriff, and I texted her. I go, does this guy work for you guys? And she sent it to one of her senior level people, and
Right.
they researched on the payroll, and she's like, no, we have no record of anybody like that. It's like, oh, this is fraud. This is ridiculous.
Yeah, but what if you don't have like?
But what if you don't have that?
Exactly.
Yeah,
I have
exactly.
my son's an attorney, and I called my son. You know, he worked for the Barber Prosecutor's Office before. I called my son and said, "Hey, Leo, look, they're calling me. Can you find out? Because I'm driving. You know, I'm in Tennessee coming down, and I don't want to get pulled over. God forbid I get pulled over. I'm in another state. You know what can happen?
Yeah.
So he called me. He goes, Dad, that's a fraud. Don't do it. So I was like,
It's
okay,
ridiculous.
but you know, and. So
But
yeah,
can you
it
imagine,
was scary.
But an elderly person, someone
Yes.
who's like over 70, right? Someone who was maybe having mental health, isn't so mentally acute,
Yeah.
right? I mean, they'll fall for it.
Yeah, because they'll be afraid.
Yeah, they're just they're scared,
Yeah,
right?
no,
So I
you're
mean,
right.
this is something that it is. We try and warn people. If you go to our website miamidadeclerk.gov, we have a banner that says "Beware of jury duty scams." So I mean, it's something that it's
Yeah,
just- it's
that's
incredibly
another they did
unfortunate.
with my son. That he failed to go to federal jury duty, and now they had a warrant for his arrest.
Yeah,
and I told
like,
my son, they can't arrest you if you don't go to jury duty. But so yeah,
I mean, before they do that.
Yeah, before they do that, yeah, it's gotta go
judge
through a
would
process,
Would
yeah.
have a hearing, right?
Yeah.
And make sure the judge would do what's called a rule to show cause, but to do that, they need to give you notice also. So it's not.
yeah, it's a process. It isn't like they're gonna just you don't show up when they because but yeah, I understand. And,
But it's
and you
ridiculous.
and you have to actually say you're going in and don't show up.
Yeah.
because a lot of times they send you the paperwork and you have to send it back so they know that you already know
Yeah.
because people move and stuff so they don't get it.
Yeah, but this is something also about jury duty is that I think a lot of people get really long about it and don't want to go. But it's an incredible
I like
opportunity.
going.
Yeah, but
I like going, huh?
and most people should like going because it's an incredible opportunity to see the government at
system work. Yeah.
To see the system work. This is where your tax-paying money is going.
Yeah.
And it's an incredible opportunity to see it, to see the judges working, to see the prosecutor's office working, right? Or even if it's a civil case, to see the civil attorneys battle it out, right? I mean, it's quite an experience.
No, it is. It is. It's
Yeah.
no, but not all of us think.
Yeah.
I guess right.
Yeah.
No, but yeah. Okay. So Can we talk about the blind filing process?
Yes, absolutely. So what the blind filing process is that if you file a complaint, a small claims case or a case in county court, depending on the case, it will randomly get filed in either one of the branch courthouses or in the downtown courthouse, right? The exceptions to those are landlord-tenant cases, evictions, because and also oh my God, what's it called? Security deposit cases, and any cases dealing with debt, consumer debt. Okay. Because the consumer debt, the reason for that one is that there is federal law that says that it has to be in the courthouse closest to you. Other than that, any other case, for instance, assignment of benefits or a traffic accident or anything like that, gets randomly assigned.
Yeah, but now explain to them why this is a good thing.
Oh, yes. The reason it's a good thing is basically to keep parity among the judges on the caseload. Okay, because what people were doing before were law firms that were based in Coral Gables were filing in Coral Gables. So there was
a backlog in Coral Gables because of that.
Backlog in Coral Gables because of that. Whereas, and also maybe North Dade, South Dade, not so much now that we have the blind filing. But like from my understanding, in those three courthouses, there was a primary backlog, right? And it wasn't fair. The caseloads for the judges were significantly higher. I'm not talking about 100 cases. I'm talking about a difference of, if I'm not mistaken, I heard it was a difference of anywhere from 1,000 to 3,000 cases.
Wow, that's a big,
for a judge, number. That's a lot. That's a lot. I mean, that's a huge difference, right? Yeah. So the idea was parity. I brought to their attention, though, that something else that they missed was what's called unlawful detainer, where when you have a house guest that overstays, that's not an eviction. That's what's called unlawful detainer. It's a little known statute. And I had mentioned to the judge that you really need to mention this and include this in your administrative order, and they did, because that's also like an eviction. Like you want to be in the closest courthouse
to where you're at.
You're at,
especially in Miami with traffic.
Especially
and the reason why I bring it up is because one, it like you said, it speeds up the process because now it's equally given out.
Yeah.
Okay, and also, it doesn't allow big law firms to pick and choose what judge they want to go to, and stuff like that. So,
yeah,
I'm glad that was done.
On that note, thank you for mentioning that. On that note, imagine, we'll give this example: Coral Gables, where I think there's 4 or 5 judges. Hialeah has 2. Miami Beach has 1.
Yeah.
So if you want a specific judge, you can essentially venue shop or forum shop.
Yeah,
and pick the judge that you want, or a good chance that you're going to get the judge that you want. That's not fair.
No, it's not.
So it's something that I think that I think it was a good thing.
And that's why I bring it up because see, some of these are my favorite initiatives that would be in place because they help the regular person.
Yeah, it helps the regular person.
The other thing is bridging that digital divide.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's awesome that you're doing a lot of stuff online for people that can't get out of work. How's that been for you? Like you said that you have like your own report card, and you said it's been doing good. Can we get that in other departments? I mean,
so we're trying. So when it comes, so the system that runs civil, right. I get this question all the time from criminal defense attorneys, and I totally understand why.
I'm not an attorney.
Yeah, I know, but you slept at a Holiday Inn last night, right? The background system, the mainframe,
right,
for civil is different from criminal. So a lot of people who practice criminal will tell me, well, why can't I see the documents like in civil? Mm-hmm. Okay, 2 different systems, 2 completely different systems. Now in criminal, we are getting the images up slowly.
Right.
Okay, we're doing it. And my team has done a fantastic job of redacting. The issue, we have several issues with criminal, though, is that there's this thing called Marcy's Law that prohibits the disclosure of victims' information. Okay, so we have to be cognizant of that whenever we put a document out there in the public. The mainframe is different. It's like 30 years old. So it's incredibly difficult to manage.
Right.
but we are putting a lot of the arrest reports or probable cause affidavits online. Attorneys can request it. We will typically fulfill the request within 24 hours. And the reason that they want it is, and I totally understand, having practiced law, is that they want to be able to sit down with their client and take a look at the police report and talk to them about it, instead of taking a case and not knowing what the police report says, right? Not knowing what the probable cause affidavit says. So it's something that we're working towards it. There's a new system that's going to come, a new mainframe that the county put an RFP out for, and they're currently working on it to set it up. And hopefully that'll be up and running in 2028, 2029. And that thing should be state of the art with all the images up there. And then, the other issue with the images is that the Supreme Court has given us what's called the security matrix, right? So it's depending on what your role is, what your position, you can only see certain documents. So if you're a public non-registered individual, that is the lowest one that you can see the least amount of documents. If you are a judge, you can see the most documents. If you're a state attorney, that's under judge. If you're a public defender, that's about the same level as assistant state attorney.
Right.
If you're the clerk,
as need to know type of basis.
Yeah, it's like as need to know, because it also kind of goes back to the victim's
privacy,
information and privacy and all that.
I got it.
So I mean, it's a lot of different factors, but we're definitely trending in that direction and doing the best we can.
Well, look, you've been doing great. I wish we had more time. Again, thank you for coming out. Thank you for giving us some time. I know you are a very busy man, and you've been doing great things. I know you're going to continue to do great things.
Thank you.
Whatever we can do out there to help you, please give us a call. Again, thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Juan Barquin again. He is one of the top. To me, he's the top dog because the Comptroller. That's the guy. But again, thank you, everybody. Thank you for tuning in again. Have a great and safe weekend, and I'll see you again in November. Thank you.